Everybody's talking about vibe coding right now, but most people are doing it wrong. They are using ChatGPT, pasting code they don't understand, and wondering why nothing works. Today I'm going to show you the right way to vibe code mobile apps and websites from zero using Claude Code. No coding experience needed. Let's get into it. Everybody's talking about it, but what is Claude Code? In simple terms, Claude Code is a program or an interface that allows you to communicate with Anthropic models like Claude Opus 4.6 or Claude Sonnet. Different models, you can interact with them through a terminal. So what is a terminal? Well, your computer actually comes with a terminal. If you just search terminal in your computer, this is how it looks. A terminal is actually a way to interact with your computer. So instead of coming to the browser or going to the file system and click around on things, right click on the folder, new folder, or click around the screen, you can actually control your computer through the terminal. So for example, just to show you, you don't have to do this, but just to show you, I'm going to navigate to my desktop, and then I have an apps folder. And then let's say that I want to open this folder and run commands like open dot, and it will do things in your computer, right? I did something through the terminal. And this is why it's so powerful. Instead of me going to the file system, search for my apps, click on it on the folder, I just ran this command. And AI models are super good at writing commands right away on the terminal. This is why using Claude on a terminal interface, it's so powerful, because Claude can run commands and control your computer for you. This includes creating files, moving things around, and stuff like that. Now, you might be also wondering why we don't use the desktop application, right? Because Claude also has a desktop application and you can do things with it. But if you're gonna be coding, especially vibe coding, I recommend that you use a terminal so that Claude gets the full power of the terminal instead of having to deal through a UI, user interface. Okay, so let's install Claude. In case this is the first time that you are installing Claude, copy this command from the official website and open actually your terminal again. Paste the command, you don't have to do anything else, just paste it, hit enter, and this will install Claude in your terminal. This command will set up Claude for you. There we go, that's it. Now I have Claude installed on my computer. Just to confirm, I have the version 2.1 at the time, so now I can run commands like Claude v to check the version that I have installed. And effectively, it is the same one that it says here. So this means I installed it correctly. All right, and now we can actually use Claude. But the terminal might be a bit scary, especially for people that are just vibe coding, building cool stuff for them. Instead of using the terminal, the raw terminal that comes with your system, I recommend using an IDE like VS Code. VS Code is open source, maintained by Microsoft, and you can use it for free. And it comes with so many AI features. You can run agents within it. It's awesome. So I would highly recommend that you use Claude Code through VS Code. So just go ahead and download it. It's available for Mac and Windows. Now let's talk about the type of applications that you can build with Claude Code, which it's actually anything that you want, but the most common ones are gonna be websites and mobile applications. So I feel like everyone can build a website nowadays. There are so many websites that do that, but you know, I think it's more interesting to build an app. You can take it on your phone, it's native, you can use things like camera, sensors, haptics, so it's super fun. It's cool. You can build an app for you for your use case. But just want to tell you that if you still want to create a website with Claude Code, I recommend that you use React. React, you might have heard of it, but it's basically a framework for building websites developed by Meta. It's open source. It's basically the tooling that Claude Code is going to use when building the website. Okay, and if you want to use React, I recommend using Vite. You don't have to read the documentation, just give this link to Claude and it's going to create the website for you using React. What if you want to create a mobile app, which is actually what I want to cover in this video. So for creating an app, I recommend using Expo. Expo is a framework similar to Vite, and it uses actually React. And for building mobile applications, there is another framework called React Native, also developed by Meta, and it allows Claude and you to build mobile applications that are fully native for iOS and Android. So you can have the same code base and build for both platforms or just target one. Okay? And by the way, I created a video yesterday available in this channel where I show you how to deploy and build a mobile app from zero. As an example, let's create a simple application right now. I actually created a blog post. I'm going to leave the link in the description. In case you get stuck, come to this blog and you can copy some commands. Before you actually start building React and React Native applications or websites and mobile apps, you need to install one thing, and that thing is called Node.js. So if you click on this link, Node.js is a program that allows your computer to run JavaScript. If you're going to be building websites and applications with React Native, all that works with JavaScript. So go ahead and install Node by pressing this button, then scroll down, click on the Mac OS installer, double click it, and boom, you will have Node.js installed on your computer. Once you do that, you can close this. And just to confirm that we installed it correctly, you can run this command. Now, before I run this command, let's actually build an application. I'm going to open VS Code. Okay, here I have Visual Studio Code. This is how it looks. As you can see, I don't have anything, but this is, how it looks. You can move things around, you can close things like this. It's very flexible, but the cool thing about this is that it allows you to have terminals, view the files, and basically collaborate with Claude. And by the way, another thing that you can do in VS Code is install extensions. Extensions is like a marketplace. So on the extensions, go ahead and search for Claude Code. Gonna be the first one. I already have it installed, which is, I can reinstall it for you. Just press install and boom, you got it. Now you can close this and yep, we are ready to use Claude. So if you notice, when I click on this, I can see this button, which is Claude Code. By the way, in case you want to do it with Codex, which is basically the equivalent competitor from Anthropic and OpenAI, but I personally use Claude Code. I think it's better in my opinion. I haven't used Codex too much, but yeah. Anyways, you can just press this button and this is going to open the little window where Claude Code can work. Let's create an application. I'm going to open my Finder, okay? I'm going to navigate to my desktop and then my apps folder. So this is my apps folder. I'm going to create a new app by doing right click. I'm going to create a new folder. This app is going to be called Tip Calculator Video. And boom, that's it. I want to create my application there just to keep things organized, okay? So let's go to VS Code. Now let's press open folder. Then let's go to the desktop, select my apps and select my Tip Calculator Video folder. Okay, now we are inside this workstation, which is just a folder. And also notice that it already comes with an agent view. You can close it if you want to keep things clean. And yeah, on the left, this folder is empty at the time, right? So let's open a new terminal within this folder using VS Code. And now we're going to run a command to start our new Expo application. So go back to the blog and then we already installed Claude. I'm going to copy this command, okay? This command allows you to create apps, but remember, you have to install Node first. Otherwise, this command is not going to work. So I'm inside my folder. I'm going to run npx create Expo app at latest. Now, something important here. You can pass the name of your app, but this is actually going to create a new folder and we are already inside the folder. So to just create the files inside the current folder, notice that we are inside this folder, we can pass a dot and hit enter. Okay. And this will basically clone a template that Expo created for free for everyone. It's open source to get started on building applications, okay? And the files on the left, you can see them. And this is why I really like VS Code, because it allows me to see what's going on within the folder that we are working on. Versus using the terminal directly, you cannot see the files, you cannot see the changes that Claude is doing. You can also, if you are familiar with this, you can also come here, click and change the code. But if this is your first time, just being able to see and get familiar with how the project looks like, that's almost, you are better than 90% of Vibe coders, okay? So at this point, I'm going to close the terminal. Then let's go to the side window and I'm going to press the Claude tab, okay? This is the extension that we installed. This is where we tell Claude to do stuff, okay, for us. Now, another very important thing that I think it's very important, let me maximize this, and I'm gonna bring now my phone because I want to see how this application is looking like. So on your phone, go to the App Store and search for Expo Go. It should be the first result. Expo Go, it's an application that you can download from the Play Store or App Store for iOS, and it's basically a sandbox application for testing, okay? So this is not the real thing, but it will allow us to see how the Expo app that we're building right here, it's looking like, okay? Okay, so download it, open it. It's going to actually look like this at the beginning. Nothing fancy, just empty view, okay? Now, this application, it's ready to start, but we need to start it so that we can see it. So for that, we're gonna need a terminal. Let's open a new terminal within VS Code. Now, Claude is actually taking a bunch of space here, so let me close it. So we actually have now two terminals, as you can see here. You can delete them like this. You can always create more terminals by pressing this command plus. You can have as many as you want, so this means you can run Claude multiple times within this folder. Let's actually run Claude here. You can also maximize this like this. Okay, let's say Claude. All right, now we are in business because Claude is up and running within this folder that we created. But now we also want to start the server, and that requires a new terminal because the server needs to be running. So to start the app, basically so that we can see it, you have to run npx expo start. And this is the thing, when you are vibe coding, you need to be comfortable running these type of commands because Claude cannot run everything for you. Sometimes you need to collaborate with Claude, and Claude is gonna tell you, okay, run this command. And you have to take that command, open a new terminal, run it, and follow the instructions. So you need to be comfortable opening terminals. But using VS Code, it's definitely the best way to do it. You can have multiple terminals running at the same time. And so we have Claude here. And if you really want to work in multiple things at the same time, just go ahead and run Claude again on a different terminal. This is how the OP developers use AI to build at full speed. But anyways, on the one that we have the server running, you'll notice that we have now a QR code. So after installing Expo go ahead and open your open your camera on your phone. You'll notice we're inside Expo but we don't have like a button to open the camera here. You just need to open the camera directly on your phone and then scan the QR code and you'll see something that says open in Expo. Press that button and this will load the application that we are developing right here on our phone so that we can see what Claude is doing. Let's go back to one of the windows. At this point, we can start prompting. This is, by the way, a template. This is how it looks. This template, of course, was built for developers. It's super, simple. It comes with basic navigation and it's designed for developers, people who actually dive into the code and change things manually. So this is not optimized for vibe coders. As you gain more experience, I would highly recommend that you use maybe something like Plátano, one of our templates that me and my team built specifically for shipping production applications fast. So when you are using a template like Plátano, you can just run this command, and instead of running npx create Expo app, you run this command, which is a command that we created for you. It's basically going to copy a template, but this application already comes with payments. It works on Android and iOS out of the box. It's ready to ship. Camera integration, photos integration. It comes with APIs to communicate with Nano Banana. It comes with multiple languages, language support like Spanish, English, and it comes with agent skills so that you don't have to do anything. Claude can understand the code base. I want to create a very simple application, tip calculator, super minimalistic for me, for my friends, for my family, okay? When we go out to dinner, we want to see how much we need to pay, okay? You might notice we are interacting with the models through a terminal. That means we don't have buttons, okay? We don't have a fancy UI. We need to run commands. We need to type text directly here and tell Claude what to do. But it's worth noting that Claude Code comes with some very useful commands, like /plan to make a plan. You always have to start with a plan. Otherwise, the quality of your application is going to be low. And like I said before, strong foundation means better output. Another command, very important, it's the actual model that we are using. So if you run model, you'll get a list of models. I'm using the default is the recommended one, but if you want, you can select Sonnet, Opus, Opus 1 million context. This one right here is very expensive, so be careful. And Haiku, which is I think the fastest and cheapest. I recommend that you use default. It depends on what you're vibe coding. If you're just having fun, if you're going to delete this later, doesn't really matter. And if you are trying to build something real, I would recommend maybe to start with a plan, use the 1 million context, depending on the complexity of the thing that you're trying to achieve, okay? You can always press escape to go back. Another important command, it's gonna be effort. So you can tell Claude how hard it should think. Personally, I like to use high effort. Just run that and it's gonna be high. But you can also use max, auto, or low. And by the way, you can also use the ultra think command. This is actually kind of new. It was available a long time ago, then they took it away. People complain, so they put it back, and it just tells Claude to think with high effort in one turn. After this, it's going to go back to the previous setting. Okay, let's make a plan. This is a very simple application. I don't think we really need a plan. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna just tell the plan to Claude, okay? Plan, I want a minimalistic tip calculator. And since this is the first time that I'm running this command, I recommend that you be as specific as possible. This is a very simple application, just a random example, but you might be building something more complex that requires to be more descriptive about it. And of course, having a maybe long conversation with Claude Code on features and how to implement it. And this is something that I actually talk about in my book, From Idea to App Store with Claude Code. I wrote this book for my family and friends, and maybe for you in case you want to learn how to take your idea to the App Store or Play Store. It also works for the Play Store. And in this book, I actually talk about prompting, and you can see here a quick example. Weak prompt, add a transaction screen. Strong prompt, this is how a strong prompt looks like. You can also use Claude to generate prompts, right? Notice how I'm passing bullet points, how I'm being as specific as possible. So in case you want to learn how to build an application with Claude Code, this book, it really teaches you the mental model, how the development lifecycle of a mobile app works, so that you are able to iterate, not only one-shot applications, but plan, add features, increase the version, ship a new version, and iterate on your idea, okay? So make sure to check it out. Link is in the description. Let's go back. I want a minimalistic tip calculator. Now, here's where we get specific, like width, dark, and light mode. Primary color, orange. One screen, save the history locally, and I think this is good. Just let's hit enter, and then Claude Code is going to create a plan for us. Okay, the plan is ready. I forgot to mention when you use a high effort thinking, it's gonna take a while, but the output, like I said, it's supposed to be higher quality. Now, you might not understand some of the arts and technical things that Claude is talking about here because you are not technical, you don't know about the dependencies, modules, and all that. But shameless plug, by the way, in case you want to learn the basics of how React Native works, I would highly recommend that you check my React Native course. You can start learning for free. I have a complete course for beginners. All these lessons, it's free. Make sure to check it out in the description. In case you want to learn the basics, you don't need to type the code or anything, just watch and see how developing a React Native and Expo application works and looks like, and that will unlock your ability to prompt better with Claude. Anyways, in case you're interested, link in the description. But this is the plan. Let's take a look. It's getting technical, so something important here is that if you are building something real, something important for you, just read it thoroughly and ask questions if you want, like, what is this? Why did you decide to do this architecture versus this versus that? Why you don't do this? Oh, I forgot to add this feature. You can back and forth, have a conversation with Claude before approving and before changing the code. Okay, so after you are done reviewing, you can press yes and accept edits, and now Claude is building. Now, as you notice on the left, things are happening because Claude is updating stuff and doing things. And this is why I like to use VS Code again, because you are able to see what's going on with the actual code. You can click on the folders. If you want, just click on the components and you can actually view them, edit them. This is the code that is writing for you. You are interested, you can just come here and see what's happening, or just close it and keep the terminal here. And now on the right, if we go to Expo Go, we should be able to see all the updates as Claude is doing it. So you might also see some errors, so keep that in mind because it's changing things and it's gonna break things while it's building it. And another cool thing that you can do on Expo Go is that if you shake the device, let's see if I can do it, it's gonna bring this view where you can press reload to make sure that we are loading the fresh app from the server. And boom, we got it. This is how it looks. Let's test it. I don't know, 230. Let's say that I want to a $10, 10% tip, 15, and we get the total. This is a custom application that we created ourselves, and it should be compatible with light mode. All right, that's how you vibe code. This is a real application on my phone. If you don't like something, just ask Claude to change it. If you want to save the current progress, just ask Claude to save it. Once you're done with your application, you might want to publish it. In case you want to learn how to publish it step by step, I would highly recommend to check out my course. I have a full lesson on deploying to the App Store and Play Store. We also cover screenshots. In case you need your screenshots for your application on the App Store, check out Platano. We actually open sourced the Figma template. So just go to the Platano website, click on the Figma, and you can use this template for free. It basically allows you to create beautiful screenshots for the App Store and Play Store super quickly. Just come here, change the screenshots, and you're good to go. If you want to learn at your own pace, again, check out my book. Link is in the description. It will definitely unlock so many possibilities for you. The ability to iterate and actually deploy the application is the hardest part. You don't need to learn how to code to do that nowadays, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And this book, it's going to help you a lot. This was just the basics, but if you want to learn more advanced patterns with Claude Code, I have more videos here in the channel. Check this one if you want. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.